Hey, stop biting your nails. I said stop biting your nails. Ugh, listen, you nailed that presentation, which I know you did because I was there, just like I was there for the other, 10 times this past week. Anyway, you did fine. It's done. So there's not much you can do about it now. So, take a deep breath. Do with me. Yes, I am being serious. I'm not breathing until you do. And exhale. Now, you should probably focus on the class at hand so you don't miss anything here. And then, as soon as this class is over, you should probably sit outside for a little bit so you can... Wait, this is your last class of the day, right? Okay, so then yeah, take the rest of the day off. You've got the time. God knows that brain of yours needs a break, and you know it. As much as I'd love to hang out with you, I have 2 more back-to-back classes right after this. Because those were the classes I needed to stay on track, which I know the whole 4 years mantra is partially bogus because while it does save money statistically speaking, it's becoming more and more common for students to finish in 5 to 6 years depending on the bevy of factors. Not to mention it puts an unnecessary strain on students to complete something that's supposed to set them up for something they're trying to do for the rest of their lives. So the whole super senior stigma is a little ridiculous, but that's neither here nor there. I'm not gonna say it again. Stop biting your nails, or you're gonna get it. Alright, you asked for it. What? Did you think I was gonna hit you? As if I would ever. Yeah, I'm holding your hand. What of it? I did warn you. We're in the back of the lecture hall and the lights are off. I don't think we're gonna get noticed. Also, if I didn't know any better, I'd say you liked this. What? Nothing. I didn't say anything. Screw it. He's just going over review materials. We both know all of this stuff already, and I don't know when the next time I am gonna say something. Listen, I know we've been friends for a long time, but do you remember when we were kids and we were playing hide and seek at my parents' old house with all the other neighborhood kids? I thought it was clever hiding under the bed. How original. But whoever was seeker was taking too long, and I started to get nervous because it was dark and claustrophobic down there. Not that I knew what claustrophobic meant, but I could definitely feel what it meant. I almost screamed when I felt something grab my hand. But it was you. Normally I wouldn't have let anyone else hide with me, but you seemed safe. At the very least, you made it okay. And then, do you remember when we were in high school and we all held hands during that competition? when we were waiting for the results. Our hands were sweaty and the auditorium was dark, just like this. And you were sitting right next to me. I could feel your pulse against mine. You were so nervous. I think that's when I noticed you had started biting your fingernails, but I figured you wouldn't want it pointed out, so I got everyone else to hold hands. You know, as a no matter what happens, we're all in this together kind of situation. So I'd have an excuse to grab your hand so you'd stop biting your fingernails. The look of surprise on your face was priceless before you looked around and saw that everyone else was doing it, so it must be okay. Of course, I was just as nervous as everyone else was, but it wasn't just about the competition results. If anything, I was kind of nervous you were going to be able to feel my heart pounding through my chest and into my veins. Like wildfire, a storm raging in the dim light of that auditorium. I also remember the time when we were at that club. I was drunk and I didn't know where the bathroom was. Everyone else was dancing and didn't notice my distress, but I guess you did, because the next thing I knew, I felt your hand grab mine as you guided me there. We were all under the same flashing loud lights, but somehow you looked different underneath them. You stood out, like you always do. There wasn't anyone else to bring me in there, and I was struggling just to open the door. I definitely was not well. That bathroom was definitely not the cleanest, but you got me somewhere safe, and it helped ground me when you stroked my back.
Thank God.
As you held my hair back and assured me that everything was going to be all right. And your hand at my back was so warm. Kinda like that time we were on the back of your dad's truck. You had just broken up with some loser who had broken your heart, and surprise, surprise, I found you back there. Normally, the stars are bright, but they're not that bright where we lived, but they were definitely brighter than usual that night when I climbed into that truck bed with you. You looked at me with the most heartbroken eyes, and I didn't want to push you to talk, so I just said, I know. And you fell into my arms. I figured you'd say something when you were ready to talk, but I didn't want you to be alone either, so I sat with you until 2 a.m., stroking your back and letting you cry into my shoulder. God, it was cold as all get out, but it was worth it because it was you. I was about to head back home as we were slowly getting closer to 3 a.m. when I felt you grab my hand.
What?
I didn't look at me, and just kept looking at the sky as if your life depended on it. But you pulled me back down, and we just laid there, wrapped around each other all night, just holding each other. Of course, I had to stay after that. How could I, with eyes like that? Why am I bringing all of this up? Well, I'll tell you. We've been holding hands for so long, so I really don't mind holding your hand whenever you get anxious and start biting your nails again, but on the other hand, why bother looking for any more excuses? excuses at all. Okay, class, that's all for today. Don't forget... Don't forget, papers due at 11:59 on the 19th if you want to get that extra time in. But please utilize your full break to relax. It is only a 300-word paper, but only because I like you guys. Enjoy your break.